had that glow. You know, the one you have when you meet the love of your life at a wedding in Hawaii, and he wants to make you his forever. The one you have when you know that nothing can go wrong at 36. Well, it only took 3 little words to dim my light. I felt like I was jumped in a game, given these colors, the color pink. I soon learned there was nothing pretty in pink. Managing the ebbs and flows after a breast cancer diagnosis was never ending. Our life together was just beginning, but we had no future in sight. I'm now standing here in my chemo glow, willing to share my moments, because I soon learned that the glow doesn't define me. I define the glow. Hi, guys. Welcome to Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. I am really smiling like right now because I love my intro. Like, the glow does not define me, I define my glow. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our live event. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Guys, I need you to share and follow and subscribe. You know, we have podcasts out there. We're everywhere. There's no reason why you can't look up Chemo Glow and listen to us. But if you want to share your glow, please email me at chemoglow@gmail.com. Before we get started, I want to take this time to thank you guys for joining the conversation. I would like to also take this time to pay tribute to a dear friend I met in 2014 at a YSC meeting. You guys don't know what that is unless you've been diagnosed with cancer at 36, newly engaged, newly married, and now all of a sudden you're trying to find your tribe. Well, I did. I found a bunch of ladies that day, but one of them I definitely want to pay tribute to tonight. Allison. She was one of the warmest people you could ever meet. I am so grateful that our paths crossed. She was a wife, a mother, a daughter, and she meant so much to so many people. I want to continue to shed a light on her. I want to talk about her glow, and I want to honor her today. She really loved the work of YSC. She did things with them, and she also loved the connection that they had with Healing Pines Respite. You know, Healing Pines Respite, their mission is healing women with cancer through respite, nature, and connection. Her husband is giving to this wonderful organization. I also donate my time to Healing Pines Respite, and I've seen firsthand what it means to so many women like me. So, guys, if you want to donate to Healing Pines Respite, please check out Katarina and Jessica at healingpinesrespite.org. They are wonderful people. And again, I definitely want to pay tribute today to Miss Allison. She was wonderful. I remember when I walked in that meeting and I was feeling some type of way. I could not put my finger on it. And she looked at me and said, "Dear, you're heartbroken. You don't know what things to come." I was doing reconstruction at the time. I had surgery scheduled. And we were just talking about what am I going to do about this family. In 2014, goodness, her daughter was in preschool, like her first week in preschool. So she was always talking to me. I'm truly going to miss our moments together, Allison. Matt is such a wonderful husband, and I'm so happy that he's recognizing the gifts that Healing Pines Respite does for so many women. Now, tonight, it all ties in because when I was talking to my husband about how do you do it? How do you still stand beside me, behind me, and hold me up in times where I feel like I can't even breathe? And he said to me, we just put our heads down and we do it. Well, November is definitely Men's Health Awareness Month. And I want to talk about the men in the mirror. I met two wonderful men at the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk. Now, last week I told y'all that I had to take the mic, right? Just took the mic because that's what survivors and thrivers do, right? So I got on the mic. I had no idea that I was going to be on the mic the whole time, but I also didn't know the two men I was standing on the stage with. Mr. Rod Carter is here right now. He is the evening anchor for CBS 17. And hopefully, my new partner in crime, Matt Murphy, will be here from the morning host. He's the morning host of the New Pulse FM 96.9. Now, let me tell you, I've been on the phone with Matt for a whole hour to get his stuff set up today, right? A whole hour to get himself set up today. And I even called into his morning show. I've never done that before. Never. Because if I'm going to invite somebody on, I need to see what they're doing too. And he is great. He is funny, but he is being a dad tonight because his daughter has a violin concert tonight. And so he'll be joining us a little bit later. But right now, the guy that, let me tell you, I asked Rod, I said, hey, can you come onto my little podcast, my little show? And he said, yes. He had to remind me to say, hey, when we going to set that up, right? And I was like, oh, you were for real. Oh, okay. All right. I love your greatness. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you right on in and make sure I
What's up? How are you? How are you? How are you? First of all, I love your open. Oh my gosh, that open was amazing. It's so well done. I love it.
Oh, thank you, JP. He is wonderful. He's my graphic designer and he is young and has the time.
I love
I, I don't have the time. Tonight I'm flying solo. I have no time whatsoever tonight.
Well, and you chasing twins too, so you gotta, you busy woman.
I'm already going to tell you they might show up here. They might
I love
show up
it.
here.
I hope so.
Well, you are in the newsroom right now, so I
I
really want
am.
to thank you. Did you just get
Yeah.
off? Well,
I'm
kind of
still
get off
no,
the air?
no. I'm still working actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll be back on the air in just a few hours at 11 o'clock. But I was editing a story and doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm still at work.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
had to slide some time out because I had to talk to you. When she said she took the mic, she wasn't playing. I loved it though. I was like, yes, keep doing it. And you are so good at it. You're a natural. So I'm glad you.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, real men wear pink. Oh my goodness. Hey, Regina and Rod, this is so amazing. Look how Making Stride continues to make
Yep.
connections. It is so true. I told Tracy, I was like, look, they said yes. She was like, what? All right, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about. And the Making Strides walk, how did you enjoy that?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was
Mm-hmm.
so much fun. Like it was early because I get off late at night and I had to be there early the next morning. And I was like sucking down some coffee and making sure I was there. But I tell you what, when I got there and then that atmosphere and all those people, and it's so nice to see so many people on one accord. I didn't need that
Yes.
coffee. It was just pure like love for being there that just took over. It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
We had a block party.
We did.
We had a whole block party. Nothing stopped us. We had a block party, was on the mic. The DJ was hilarious.
Oh, he was so
Um,
good too. I had to tell you a funny moment that happened though. So our station gave away all these bags,
mhm.
and they're red, and they have CBS 17 on the front. So I'm walking around handing out the bags, and I rolled up on this AKA, and I was like, "Hey, did you want a bag?" And she turned around, looked at it, and literally screamed. And I was like, "What? Is something on the bag?" And she said, "Oh, I thought it was a Delta bag." I laughed about that for like 3 days. She said, "I don't want this red bag," but she did take the bag, and but it was so much fun. But that's just one example of just the fun stuff that was going on for that
Oh,
very needed cause. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
yes.
just was on one accord. It was great. I enjoy it.
And even the real men wear pink when they got on the stage. Well, first of all, they couldn't wait to get on the stage. They kept getting on the stage before it was time to get on the stage.
Just a little bit.
Just hand them the mic. That's what we do. Hand them the mic. Let's see. Real man wear pink. We love having you, Rob, and look
Thank you.
forward to
Thank
next
you.
year. Yes,
I'll
Regina
be
did get the
there.
mic. Yes. People
It
think
was
I'm
great
funny.
though, but it was awesome. It was so much fun. I mean, you're a natural at it. You really are. So when
Oh,
you told me you had a podcast, I was like, of course you got a podcast. You better have one because this was. I mean, you were so good.
well, thank you. And Tracy even double dutch. Like,
Oh, that's
okay,
not hard.
making
What was
strides.
that? You know, she was like,
Y'all going too slow.
yeah, she was like, pick it up. That was awesome, though. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that was really so much fun. We have so many people joining us from different like from YouTube, Facebook. Guys,
Hmm.
I thank you so much. Toma, oh my goodness, you have to meet this lady right here. She is a 15-year, I believe, lung cancer survivor, and it's also Lung Cancer Awareness Month.
Hmm.
And I really, really, really love her. She does so much, and she won the Catalyst of Change Award. Like
Oh, wonderful.
like, yeah, she's doing big things in the community. When I grow up, I want to be like Toma. Yeah, I want to be like her. So many people are chiming in. But before we get started, because our guy is not here yet, and if he shows up, great. If not, we got this.
We got this.
I hope it's a slow news night. But I know if you got to jump off, I
Yeah. So far, the executive producer's really working hard, and the producer's working hard, so they're ignoring me.
okay, we'll take that. So, Rod Carter, how long have you been here? Is that your who's is that your
Yeah,
counterpart?
she said we're not ignoring you.
Oh my goodness.
She gonna
Tell
put me to
her to
work
come.
soon.
Let me see her face. Let me see. I've
Okay,
been watching you guys.
there she is. Wave. Say hey.
Hi, how you doing? Y'all are busy over there.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
tell me how long you've been here now in
So I
North
moved here.
Carolina.
I moved to North Carolina in March. I came March, I think 15th. So
Hmm.
about 8 months now. It's been fun. It's a very different thing. So I grew up and lived in Florida for most of my life. Lived in Alabama and Georgia for a little bit. So this has been it's been really nice to be here. We don't get seasons changing in Florida. I mean, it gets cold, but palm trees don't really change colors like like the leaves do here. So it's nice to actually see that. I'll
So
tell you though, this whole thing of it being 40 at one point in the day is 75 at the next point in the day, I'm like, what is going on? I don't know how
the
to dress.
well, let me tell you, this weather is disrespectful because one day you got you got everything laid out, and then you walk outside and the heat is killing you.
Wear a
Or
sweater and
it's
2 hours
so
later you sweating. It's crazy.
look, if you live in Norfolk, Carolina, you better have layers, have
Right.
some rain boots in your car, right? And you need to just make sure that you mask up and be safe out here because
You
we're gonna
got it.
change.
You got that
So
right. If you don't like it, just wait a couple hours. It'll be different.
it'll be different. Well, one of the things I definitely wanted to talk about, because when we were on the stage at the end, we started
Hmm.
having a very candid conversation about men's health, right?
Hmm.
Men's health and even with mental health, from dealing with being a caregiver,
Hmm.
or being the one going through, or being the head of your household and doing those things. How do you, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? What gets you through? And
Hmm.
what do you do for your community so they can understand about men's health?
For me, I'll be honest with you. I talk to anybody and everybody. My
Hmm.
therapy is just being able to have conversations with people. And we talked about this a little bit. My grandfather had prostate cancer.
Hmm.
My uncle had prostate cancer, and my brother has it now. So
Wow.
it's been one of those things that runs in our family. Men don't like typically talk about health issues if they don't have to. They don't want
Hmm.
to discuss it at all.
Hmm.
And so I have been very blessed to have a family that is kind of sort of like that, but has changed. I've seen the change, and
Okay.
that's a blessing. So my grandmother had colon cancer,
Hmm.
but I was a full on grown adult when I found that out. I did not know. I knew it was cancer, but I had no idea what the form was. And so, when my mom told me, we had this long discussion and we talked about why it is our community does not have conversations about these things. And
Hmm.
she said, you know, it's one of those things where it's like they feel like there's some sort of shame or some sort of stigma. You don't ask people what they died of. You don't say cancer. You just never said the word.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother died when I was 13. So I knew she was sick, but I did not
Mm.
really know what it was. And so years later is when I found out. But I'm so glad that we're changing that because, you know, silence is deadly. It really is deadly. And so when my grandfather found out he had prostate cancer, those are conversations I have. One, two, three, four, five male cousins, first cousins, four
Wow.
male first cousins, and two female first cousins, and my brother and I. So as soon as, and then, you know, two uncles. And so we started having these conversations and saying, you need to go get checked. You need
Yeah.
to get a PSA test. You need to go get a check for prostate cancer. So it's kind of funny. I laugh
Yeah.
now because I tell these stories because I think it kind of takes the weight off of it. So
Exactly.
I told my doctor I needed to get checked, and you
Hmm.
know they're like, "Oh, well, your insurance ain't gonna pay for it until you're 50." And I said, "Okay, well then I'll pay for it because you know I'm a black man and I have a history in my family. So
Hmm.
let's get this party started." So the biggest thing that men are afraid of is that usually the first check is a digital exam. Like, remember
Hmm.
we had this conversation with our buddy
Yeah.
Matt, and he was like, "This was so funny." He was like, "Digital?" And I said,
Digital
is yeah, it's what it is. So
is
we
what
were
it is.
having, and so I go to the doctor and I set this
Hmm.
up and I go, and this man is having this whole conversation with me about my job. And this was I was in Alabama football. And he's like, okay, drop your pants. And he's just going on and on. And I was like, could we just like not talk at least? We don't have to have a conversation. Just do what you got to do. And
Uh-huh.
but so my brother and I were having that conversation, and I told him all about that, and we laughed about it. But it kind of takes the fear out of it, if you
It
will.
does.
So
Yeah.
we
It,
started going and getting and you know I told him I was like that's probably one time and you'll probably get you know a blood test from that point on. And so we never had a discussion again. So now I'm having this conversation, or at least trying to, with my younger cousins, because my brother and I are the two older,
uh-huh.
like grandchildren. We were the first grandchildren. The next one didn't come along for 14 years. So all of my other cousins are like in their 30s and younger. So we're trying to have this conversation with them now, and my other uncle, to get them started. Like, you need to get checked. You have to,
The conversation, we have to have these conversations because again, I mean, what's the worst thing? Waking up dead? Oh, okay, I'm just
and
saying.
you don't want to do that.
And you don't want to do that. And like you said, when we were talking to Matt and we were saying, look, you need to have this conversation and you need to do because things happen, life happens. Life has happened for my family in the past week. And it's
Yeah,
so like, how do you deal when you're trying to deal with cancer, you're trying to deal with life because life still goes on.
yeah.
People keep moving and we're not talking about it anymore. So you talking to your family, who else do you reach out to in the community? Because you do a lot.
Yeah, I
You do
do.
a whole
I
lot.
try to stay busy because my grandmother told me an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So
Mhm.
I have to stay. I have to stay busy because my mind will get crazy.
Yes.
You know, I'll be honest with you, friends, and you know, as far as my own mental health, I feel like if I haven't gotten to the point where I really want to go sit and talk with a therapist yet, but I'm not
Hmm.
afraid to do that. That's not a problem. But talk to everybody. I have
Hmm.
conversations with all friends, and we have deep discussions about these topics. Not just you know men's health, because now it's November, so it's like Men's Health Month, and there's a lot of attention paid to that. Not just those conversations, but just everything that's going on in the world around us. I feel like if you bottle stuff up and hold it in, that's when it's going to create those issues for you. And
Yeah.
so I talk. And look,
Yeah.
my mother always tells me you'll talk to a tree, and I'm like, and it ain't even got to talk back. I will sit right there and talk to it. It don't matter. But and I've
Exactly.
always been that way. My brother,
And
on the other hand, is a complete opposite. Regina, he won't talk to anybody. He hardly
really,
says it. Oh, no, he just does not. He's a very quiet guy, and he doesn't really get into those conversations. But I've learned the older we get. So when we were really young, we talked about
hmm,
everything. Then we hit like that teenage stage, and he went
uh-huh,
that way, I went this way, because we're
uh-huh.
so opposite. And now he's getting to a point where he's talking a lot more, which is good. Like he's now starting to text me. And the first time he texted me, I was like, who is this? Who took who took this man's phone? But it's good because he opened the door and I came
Mm-hmm.
right on in. So I'll be like, how's your health? How you doing? Everything good. So he talks about his medication and all the stuff that he has to do. And so it's a lot better. And I think if we all do that, not just with our biological brothers, but all of our brothers across
Yes.
racial backgrounds, all of that, that's how
Yeah.
things improve.
It will improve. And you know
Mhm.
what? This series is truly talking about the man in the mirror. And it looks like Rod
Is
Carter is
he?
not going to be the only one on.
Yes.
Oh
Call in,
my
Matt.
goodness. Let me go ahead and bring Matt Murphy in.
I
What
love
are
it.
we, guys? Let me put a disclaimer out there. I have no idea. I have
Can
no
you
idea
guys hear
what
me?
Yeah, we got you, man. That radio
Hey,
voice.
Matt.
I don't know if my mic is working or not.
Well, your camera wasn't working earlier, but we
I
good
We,
know.
now.
we got you,
Can you
man.
guys still hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
We can hear
Okay.
you fine. Yeah, you're doing
Oh,
well. How
God.
was the concert? Is it a concert?
It was good. I had to leave a little early. Can you hear me
Oh,
better now, or is it the same?
It's
actually,
louder with
it's
your little
louder
It's
now.
louder.
microphone.
Yeah, yep. Look, he's so used to being on the radio. This morning, he was hilarious. His daughter looked like she was really happy to go. So she wanted to stay home. I know
She
school
wanted to
was
get her nap on.
so, Matt, we were just having a conversation about men's health. But before we start talking about that, just kind of introduce yourself to my millions of listeners because I'm already
Yes.
out there.
Well, my name's Matt Murphy. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I lived in um, Magnolia, North Carolina after we moved from Philly.
Hmm.
Then we moved to Wilmington. And then we moved to Richmond. From
Oh, wow.
Richmond back to Raleigh. So, I mean, I know all about, Tobacco Road and the Tar Heel area. So,
Well, I think the only flaw you have is that you're a Carolina fan.
oh, wow.
I think that's the only one.
I am. I am. I am a big time Tar Heel fan. So,
Well,
that is
I'll,
true.
I'll keep you
That is
on. You
true.
can stay on. Well, Matt, I was talking to Rod about how we met and how I took your mic,
Yep.
how I did that and all that. But at the end we had a great conversation about men's health. It was a little uncomfortable. We were
Yeah.
talking about making sure that how do men take care of themselves? What are you doing? And how have you been affected? How have you been affected yourself by cancer in your world, in your community, in your family?
All right. Well, I talked to my sister, by the way, on the way to the concert, and
Oh,
she's open
great.
to coming on with you, her and her husband.
Oh,
So I'm
that is
putting them out
awesome.
there.
Okay, come on in. The
Um,
more the merrier.
uh, well, my mom had breast cancer. She's a thriver now.
Yeah.
And my sister had Hodgkin's disease. I think I said that right, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she's a survivor. So, and then my dad, can't believe I'm saying this, my dad passed away in August
Hmm.
from cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
so
I don't like that word, but it's a part of our life, and it's something we have to deal with.
yeah. And actually talking about it, believe it or not, I was very, very quiet during my time. Like people thought the reason why I got married early was because I was pregnant. No, no, no. That
Shotgun wedding.
wasn't. Yeah, somebody actually called me. I was like, if you don't get off my phone right now, but I was so I was so private about what I had going on, but now I really want to talk about what defines my glow. And so
Right.
the word cancer is devastating, it's ugly, it has no bedside manner. It doesn't
Mm.
care what you're doing at the time that you're doing it. It shows up to seek and destroy. And we have to have more conversations so we won't be so left in the dark because those words are so powerful when they say you have cancer, right? And I hate that word too. Survivor is not even my favorite word because I feel like I'm thriving through this thing. But I understand the power of pink. I understand the survivorship. I understand thriving. Mad at the walk, you kept saying, what about those thrivers? What about those thrivers? And I knew when you said that, I said, okay, somebody, he's been touched by something, and I'm going to talk to him about it. But a lot of people are talking about how a lot of men don't walk the talk, and certain subjects we don't want to talk about it. We're fear. It's unknown. But how can we as a community start these conversations happening?
Yeah, I think we need to talk about it because it's really hard for me to still talk about it now. Because, when my mom had breast cancer, I thought she was going to die. Yeah. And I'm a mama's boy. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm a mama's boy. And
me too, my friend.
That messed me up bad. I was like, I thought I was going to lose my mom. And my dad was, my dad was alive and everything. But I was worried about my mother. And thank God she made it through. With the chemo and everything and some of the surgeries that she had to have, she made it through. But it's tough on everyone. I mean, I know it's tough on you, but it's also tough on the family as well because we all go through it with you.
We're all going through it, and then we talk about it, and we need to make sure we keep having these conversations. But one of the things that Rod and I want to know is, have you made your appointment yet?
I have not. I'm waiting for my insurance to kick in, and then I'm going to make my appointment.
Okay.
Facts. Right. Hashtag facts. That is the fact. I am going.
Well,
I'm a little hesitant about it, but I'm going to do it.
And here's the thing, Matt, because this is the whole point of this is because I have been there with you. I have been there and done this too. It is not bad. I promise you.
Okay.
It's probably in your head. Somebody just typed in that the fear of the unknown is why a lot of men don't have dialogue about this. Yeah. It is in your head. It is probably a lot worse than what it's going to be. It is. I mean, it was so quick that I was like, okay, all right. And I was telling Regina, the only thing that just threw me for a loop is the guy was having all these conversations about news and like Alabama football, and I was like, can we just not chat? Just do your thing. But to me, it made it funny. So it actually clearly what the guy did worked because it took my mind off what I was afraid of. It had me thinking to myself, like, because honestly, I was thinking, like, I don't really know about Alabama football, and I don't really want to talk to you about it.
Well, Alabama football right now.
And then he started bringing up my co-anchor at the time, and I was like, now I'm going to always see her face in this procedure. So, and I told her about it, and we had the best laugh about it. But I think he did it on purpose because it distracted me from my fears. So I wanted, I'm telling you all these stories for a reason. Don't be nervous. It'll be fine. And we are going to hold you accountable, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
and
we have to.
Here's the thing, though. I think they changed the method in which they do it. I hope. I hope they still don't have to do it the old school way. And if they do, I still have to go through it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and that only happened one time. So the rest of the time, it's been a blood test.
But I was told that they still might have to do it that way. And I was talking to my uncle.
Possibly.
And they say, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about the blood test. I'm like, hey, they just. Yeah. Take a blood test.
But it's, trust me, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Okay.
It's fast. It's very fast.
Very fast. And you've only been here back in Carolina for how long? Here.
July. I think July. 3 months. So 3 months back is July, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I started on the 16th. So my dad passed on July 19th, excuse me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you had just gotten here.
I had just started work on the 16th, and yep.
Yeah.
But he didn't get. I think he got tested, but he didn't want to go through the chemo treatment.
Yeah.
With my grandfather, it was a similar thing. Well, he was, gosh, I think he was tested and found out he had prostate cancer in gosh, it might have been like the either late 80s or early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been the early 90s because so he had surgery and he lived for another 15, 20 years. So he died in early 2001. But, you know, the fact that we talked about it was really the thing, you know.
Right.
He didn't, you know, my grandfather, when he died, was 89 years old.
Oh,
They don't talk about
No.
health. You know, I mean, I laugh now because my mother, we talk about, because, you know, you said you're a mama's boy. I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I
Yeah.
talk about everything. So she said the first time she told me she had to have a mammogram, I kind of chuckled. I was like, "Ooh, Lord, we close." So she told me about it. And she said, "Well, I gotta go have this mammogram," and I was like, "Okay, good. Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Just make sure everything is fine." And she was like, "Why am I talking up under my clothes to you?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I'm glad you told me. We need."
Yeah.
So now it got to a point where I was like, "Have you made your appointment yet?" And she was like,
Yeah.
"Yes." But that's what we got to do. That's why we gonna harass you, Matt.
Yeah,
we're
I'm going to
right.
do it. I'm going to do it. And you got to make some changes. And, you know, I made some changes like 2 years ago. I stopped eating beef.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
not there
I'll eat
yet, but I
chicken.
got you.
I'll eat chicken
Yeah.
and I'll eat that impossible beef, but I will not eat any more beef.
I
Yeah.
stopped eating beef in 2007.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
2007. Yeah.
Y'all
It-
I found out that all of my stomach issues, a lot of my stomach issues went away when I
Yeah.
gave away that beef. So, I mean, I'll eat a steak on our anniversary at Ruth's Chris, but that's just like once a year. But I don't do hamburger at all anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with hamburger out there, all the beef people.
Yeah.
Somebody go hashtag you, Matt Murphy.
You need to eat. Look at that boy. Somebody need to give him a sandwich.
Matt hates cows. No.
You can get us, sponsor Chick-fil-A. There you go. Eat that
I used to work there, by the way. I used to work at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I can
Really?
see you. I can see you working there and having a ball too. And the customers like, is Matt here today? Is he
Right.
here
It was the
today?
one in the mall. The one in the mall where you know.
my gosh.
Ooh. Wait,
I bet you
Christmas
had
time
fun.
is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a different scene.
I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah.
a Chick-fil-A that wasn't crowded.
Yeah. They always
They're
got
all
it.
busy. Always.
Yeah.
A lot of people eating chicken, but we're talking about dieting and changing the way we eat because guess what? I was explaining to someone, I was like, look, I don't think I've said this out loud to many people, but I am the size I was when I gave birth to my children. They're 5 now. That's a
Right.
right? And someone
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you meant the size before you gave birth to your children.
no.
Okay.
Regina, I'm the size you were when you gave birth to your children. I mean, the older I get, I'm like, ooh, it's just more of me to love.
Just know me. I was telling the person, I was like, wait a minute, I have zero excuses. And COVID, let's talk about COVID. It kept us
Well,
in,
COVID-
right?
Yeah, COVID puts those LBs on you.
Man,
I gained weight during COVID.
Yeah, I had COVID and gained weight. How's that possible? I'm probably the only person who gained weight with COVID. Lord have mercy.
Oh, so you had COVID. I was about to say where did he gain the weight at, but I'm gonna go over to you and say, so you experienced COVID.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. It was the last summer, so right around July. In fact, it was right when John Lewis passed away. I remember because I was at home, so I had the sniffles, and then I had a sore throat the next day, and I think I had like sore legs one day, and then I was fine. Never had a fever.
That was it?
Until I actually found out I had COVID. So that was Monday, Tuesday. I found out Friday. One of my coworkers was like called me like crying, said she was tested positive, and
boy,
you need to get tested. I'm like, should have gave her that ride home. Okay, so I went the next day and I got tested, and they were like, even the doctor came was like, you're actually positive. I'm like, what? So I basically went home, but it was right at that moment that I realized my taste buds were off.
Oh,
Yeah.
So at first I kept thinking this sweet tea tastes funny, and then I was like, oh, that's why.
yeah.
So for about a month and a half, I had no smell or taste.
Wow.
Do you know how hurtful that is to a chunky boy who like to eat? So every day I'm like, today I'm gonna taste something, and I just would eat it. I'm like, no, this is the day. But I
Yeah.
was blessed. I joke about it, but I was really blessed because I really did not have symptoms that bad. I actually worked the entire time. I just told them to bring a camera to my house, so I did all the stuff from there.
Right.
And so it wasn't as bad for me, but I know there are a lot of people it was a lot worse for, and that could have been because I was maybe a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
That's the key.
So yeah,
Yeah. And I hope, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I think we're going to be masking up for a while
yeah, I
until we
think it's
get,
here to
Yeah.
stay.
yeah, until we get this under control
Hmm.
because it's so
Yeah, I was living that
important.
life anyways. So living that germaphobe
Michael,
life.
oh wow,
Yeah, me
Michael.
too.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you're better, Michael. I see Michael put that. That's why I say for some people it's really, really bad, and
yeah,
for me,
Right.
I was just one of those people. I don't know. It wasn't that bad for me, and I wouldn't even say because I was all that healthy necessarily. But although I said that before, I don't even know if that's it because it was just I don't know what it was. I mean,
yeah.
my co-anchor, she's in really good shape, my
Mm-hmm.
old one, but she was knocked out. It gave her bronchitis, so she was down for the count for like 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's really a strange virus because it affects everybody so differently,
it
and that's
does
It might be
affect
that's
because you
everybody.
don't eat beef.
maybe I don't know. Could
Maybe,
be.
could be all
Yeah,
the
I stopped
stuff
eating
in your
pork too.
gut. Oh yeah, I don't eat
Yeah.
pork over here. I definitely don't.
I
But
very
one,
rarely eat it. I'll eat
yeah,
some bacon,
Lord, I want
but
some ham sometimes though, but I don't do it.
you don't do it.
Just my mama's actually. I want her ham because she cooks a
Yeah.
good ham. So
Well, if my mother was still here, I would definitely be eating pork, but she's not, so I'm not touching it, and I haven't had it in years, 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 years. So, guys, being here in North Carolina with all the hospitals that we have Duke, we have UNC, we have all of this, the medical community. Do you think it makes a difference that we have access to so many different hospitals from Rex to UNC to Duke and all the small clinics that are popping up around everywhere? So there shouldn't be no excuse about going to be seen about, your health, right, Matt? There's
y'all not letting up, are you?
not even a little bit, like
no, brother, we
I'm
like you.
going to go.
We want you here. We want you to be here. Yeah. I,
yeah,
you
I'm
know,
going to
I,
go.
I agree. I think it should make it easier. I think one thing that the pandemic has really exposed for us are the health inequities that are out there.
mm,
They're just like they're food deserts. There are health deserts. People have to travel miles and miles to get health care. We are blessed and fortunate not to have to do that. So hopefully people are taking advantage of it. And not to mention all the clinical trials that take place in this area. So,
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
this area is really making a huge difference when it comes to medical care. So I think it does make a difference that we have such a great
Uh,
medical community.
yeah,
we have a great medical community, and I also want to admit that I have that, was it white coat syndrome? I'm afraid of the doctors.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not going to lie. I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it. So if there's
Yeah,
anyone out there that is afraid to go to the doctor, you're not by yourself.
yeah.
yeah,
That is me. When I walk through the doors, I have to have scans on Friday. I already know my blood pressure gonna be up here, and it was like, "Did you
Yeah.
check it before you
Oh,
went home?" Yep, it's called the white coat syndrome, and it's
yeah, yeah. Your white coat, your
severe.
blood pressure goes up.
Goes all the way up,
that's
all the
interesting.
Yeah.
way up. So
Yep.
yeah, that definitely happens. And there are a lot of clinics
Hmm.
that are like, you have UNC main campus, and now you have all these affiliates in Goldsboro, different places. And making sure that you go see a doctor is so very important. And if you don't have the money to pay for it, or if they say you're too young, because I was 36 when I was diagnosed, if I would waited till I was 40, I would not be here right now. So it's
Oh,
important to say there's options out there. If you can't afford it and you truly need to have it, go ahead and ask for the resource center. What are
Right.
my options out there? There's grants out there. There's so many things that we can do to make sure that we stay healthy. And the first thing we need to do is make sure we pay attention to diet and exercise.
Hmm.
I mean,
Ooh,
exercise that I
exercise.
like.
I got to get back to that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to admit that I have fallen off the wagon when it comes to exercise. I was really good. So I used to be a lot. Well, I should say that. I was about this size before. And then I started exercise. Actually, it was right after I went to that same doctor who had such great conversation with me. He told me another issue that I was having, which is something that my family deals with a lot. He said, you're pre-diabetic.
Oh boy.
And your cholesterol is high. And he said, so I'm gonna put you on some cholesterol medicine. Now this is, I shouldn't say it's funny, but it makes me chuckle. And I was like, no, sir, you will not. I said, you give me 6 months and I'll take care of this. And so he was like, okay, I'm gonna give you 6 months. And I went home, threw out every pizza coupon, and I literally just started walking, and I changed my eating. And over that 6 month period, I probably lost about 20 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, what did you do? What you taking? And I said, nothing. I just started walking and exercising and doing better. And so this is funny. So I lived in Tampa and I moved to Birmingham. So I was only in Birmingham 2.5 years. By the time I moved back to Tampa, because they had called me and asked me to move back there to work at the station again. By the time I got back, I'd lost about 60 pounds.
It
was a lot. 2.5 years. You can tell me nothing. I went from a 48 suit to a 42. I was like, psh. So when I got back, though, the ironic thing was people were like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They gave me every disease known to man. I mean, I had them all. My favorite was, though, somebody said, oh, this guy said he had gastric bypass like you did.
What?
And I was like, I didn't though. But it was one of those things where I exercised and I took care. I tried to do a lot better, brought everything down, and still, even with that, ended up on cholesterol medicine because I couldn't fight the genetics.
Wow. Genetics, that's another thing.
Yeah, I couldn't fight the genetics. But so over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, I've gotten lazy. I'll be honest, and I just right back to where I was before. So now
you look healthy.
Now I'm all convicted. That's because I got this jacket on. Now I'm all convicted. So y'all gonna get me back on track. So I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, we're all gonna get back on track. Like everybody tells me, like, "Oh, Regina, you look great." I get that, but guess what? These hips, these knees are still something different.
Don't
So
they?
we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And Matt, you have children, and your children, are you having the conversation about health, about exercise, about being healthy?
Yes. Well, speaking of genetics, I guess I kind of won the genetic lottery because all my kids are skinny and I'm a bone. They call me the bone doctor, so I can pretty much eat anything I want. But I was during COVID. I got a little belly down there, so I had to cut back and get back in shape. But I do talk to them about eating food. And I told my daughter and my son, I said, you guys, if you don't want to eat beef, you don't have to. It's not gonna kill you not to eat it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it is so important that we make sure that we're having these conversations with our kids at a young age. And I do that with my girls. They don't like sugar. Halloween messed us up because we still have Halloween candy from last year.
Go to the radio and they go to the grocery store.
That's how we live in our house. My husband is skinny, but he got that little belly. So it's caught up with us all. But guys, you guys are doing so much in the community.
You could also
even with spreading your wings here. What are some things or some projects that you're working on?
underneath Flint.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, well, we have the Children's Promise that we're doing with UNC Children's Hospital through the month of November, because, kids need our help. And sometimes some families don't have enough money, like you said, to afford some of the bills that come with getting healthy and getting seen by a doctor. So that's what we're doing all month, and that's what we're part of, and encouraging people to make that promise to help out with that.
Yeah. That's really a great organization in doing that.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. You can go to thenewpulsefm.com for more information.
Yes, there you go. I was going to say that.
Look at a promo.
When I called into your show. And Rob, what are you working on?
So it's kind of weird. I still split my time between here, volunteering between here and in Tampa. So I'm on kind of a few boards. I just transitioned off the board for the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, which is a help center for women and men who have, been the victims of, how should I say it? I don't want to say sexual assault or people who need help. 911, calls to the center to just even have a conversation and that sort of thing. It's kind of hard to encapsulate because they do so much, but I just transitioned off that board. I'm still on the American Diabetes Association board there. I'm on the board with a group called Gentlemen's Quest, which is a group that helps young men, teenagers develop into men, kind of teaches them skills on that sort of thing. So I do a little bit with that too. I just joined a board here. It's kind of cool though. It's a theater board, so it's high schools and they all compete. They do productions like theater productions, and so they compete. And so I get the horrible task of just finding 4 productions and just going and sitting there watching them. It's terrible. No, it's going to be so much fun. I just get to watch and kind of give my thoughts and views on their theater performances. And so it's, I'm kind of, that's just a little bit. I'm all over the place. I'm telling you, I'm all over.
Now, hold on. Were you part of the theater?
I am not. I've never acted a day in my life. I just have a friend who loves it, and she was like, I think you'd enjoy this. Now, I do like going to theater. In fact, I just went to see Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's at the North Carolina Theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really good. If you get a chance, it ends, I think, Sunday. But Angela Robinson, who's a Florida A&M University graduate, as am I.
Yes, I was waiting for you to throw that in.
I was right looking for the right spot. She's starring in it, so it's really interesting. It's about the life of Billie Holiday. So it's really It's really, really good if you guys get a chance to check it out. And you can also watch CBS 17 News at 11 tonight because I did.
Are you going to be on tonight?
I am. I interviewed her, and it's a great story that my EP is going to let me go 149 on.
Okay, so now you got to watch to see that interview.
She just threatened to cut it already. It'll be tonight at 11 o'clock on CBS 17. So
all right,
Matt, he is still working.
Yeah, I can see that in the background.
I know.
I think the ambience that I love what's going on in the background. Honestly, I really do. Yeah. I love that. I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
That's my coworker desk, but I can change it a little bit if you want to see something.
No. Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll give you a little tour. How about that?
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yep. Y'all are doing big things. And I just want to coming it's in fun. And being on my little live Chemo Glow podcast.
Ain't nothing little about this podcast.
Matt, you got to see the show open. The show open is like better than ours. Don't anybody say that. No, it is so good though. Like it is really, really good. It's very well done.
JP graphics, he is so wonderful in Chapel Hill. All I did was give him a bunch of pictures of my life.
JP from where?
We're not talking about Chapel Hill.
Okay. Yeah. Chapel Hill.
Look, Chapel Hill gave me life. I got all of my stuff at Chapel Hill. I am the vice president of the PFAC committee for UNC Cancer Center. And they told me don't ever walk in here with a Duke shirt on because you might not get treatment. Now, you know that's bad.
That's a rivalry.
Like, that's a rivalry.
That is a rivalry.
They actually said that.
I can understand.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I'm a Duke fan. Who cares? But
hey, it's all good.
Yeah, just doing big things in the community and just trying to get out there and tell people that there are resources out there, and we need to have these candid conversations, and we need to make sure that we're sharing not just with our immediate family, but with friends, family, and community, with everyone.
Absolutely.
I need her coffee. She's got a big old cup of coffee.
Say hey, Angela. She
said
Angela. She needs your coffee, she said.
I'm dying.
One thing people don't know about Angela, she never goes anywhere without a blanket. And they always match. They always match her dress. It's so funny.
Are you serious? Oh,
every day.
Goodness. I absolutely love that. I need a fan. I have my Beyonce fan over here.
Not the Beyonce fan.
Yeah.
Oh, on the floor.
Yeah, sitting right over here. Because my hair tends to start out really, really small, and then by the end, I look like a chia pet. So
I
If you
love it.
look, it just is what it is on any given day. Any given day. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being on. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody's comments because I'm flying solo tonight.
I
And
love
I
it
just
though.
want to
You
make
you
I did
killing it.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Intro and everything. Real man, well, Pink definitely came in and talked to us. Michael was on the scene.
Yes,
Mimi,
indeed.
who is my biggest cheerleader. Thank you. I am beautiful. Yes,
Yes, she is right.
I, I get it from my mama. I get it straight from my mama. Talanya, now she gonna hold you to it. She stay on Twitter and Facebook and not Facebook. What is that other one? Instagram.
Oh,
Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat,
oh.
So
Facebook.
she gonna be on you, Matt, about facts. If you see hashtags facts, that's gonna be Talanya. Look, I've
Okay.
already your Instagram is already coming up. People are already hitting stuff on my Instagram already. And of course,
Rod, what's your Instagram? Do you have an Instagram, Rod?
I do. It's Rod CTV. I think.
Rod
Rod C.
I think.
TV.
Rod RODCTV.
Yep. Rod C,
CT.
like Rod Carter. C. Rod C TV.
I got it.
Yes.
Or
Well,
Rod
or
CBS 17. Yeah, I got two.
All right.
Rod CTV is the trap gram, and then the word. I'm just joking.
Come on, man.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
look,
I'm trying to hold it together.
Matt is talking to us from his burner phone. So
Oh,
we
his
fine.
burner.
Yeah. Oh, you want? Oh, man. Yeah, this is my burner phone, my backup phone. So the expensive phone I spent all the money on didn't want to work, so I had to use
Yeah.
my burner phone
Hey,
Man,
all
that's how it works.
to make this happen.
That's how it works sometimes.
Matt, where can they reach you at? If they want to listen to you in the morning, which the music is really, really good. So I appreciate
Yeah.
the live and podcast going on. It's really, really good. But where can we reach you at? How
All right, so you can listen to me tomorrow morning, 5:30 to 10, on the new Pulse FM 96.9 and 102.5. And you can follow me on Instagram at Matt Murphy on air. That's Matt Murphy on air on all social platforms.
you see how his voice just going to that big old
Did you hear it on the radio? Matt Murphy on air. Okay.
Rod Carter tonight at
Right.
7 on
Yeah.
TV.
You hear me over here like I'm like Rod C. He's like, Matt. Oh, I found you, bro. Got you.
There
You
got me?
We're
Follow.
finding each other. Well, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys find them and make sure you follow them. Rod, Matt, is there anything you would like to say to my millions of listeners out there before we sign off here?
Keep following her and keep watching.
Absolutely.
Rod, I believe that Matt said that he was going to give me a job on the
He
air
did. He did say
front
that.
of, in front of 1,500 people.
Not just you, Rod too. I was like, I want us to be a morning show.
Okay,
I'm a
that's
solo
true.
guy.
That's true. That's true.
You heard it
Yeah.
here first.
See how you backtrack?
Hashtag facts. I'm gonna need to give me a whole morning show, okay?
I did say that. Now, I'm not the boss, but if my boss say, hey, you can do a morning show, I'm bringing you two guys and girls with me.
You should do some guest stars. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
And you can bring her on. Seriously,
Yep.
though, thank you, Regina, just for asking us to do this. Like, this means a lot.
I appreciate it.
does. I mean, it's fun. It's informative. People need to hear these topics, and y'all just a blast. I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, it is nothing but fun times here. I want to thank Matt and Rod. I want y'all to stay in the backstage, though. I'm
Okay.
gonna put you out in the backstage, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign off to my
right.
audience.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Matt. Thank you, Rod. Guys, this has been a blast. Again, I'm flying solo here, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Make sure that you do check out my guest tonight. Of course, we had Mr. Rod Carter of NBC. He is gonna get me. Oh, I did not say NBC. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and look here.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Like, I worked for NBC for 100 years, it feels like, but it's CBS.
It's CBS. It's because I shouldn't have read it. I shouldn't.
CBS 17.
CBS 17. There goes my job, y'all. See?
No, you still good.
And of course, we have Matt Murphy, morning host of the new Post FM 96.9 and 102.5. Look at me with my reading skills. I want to thank everybody tonight. This has been a blast. Please remember that the glow doesn't define me. I define the glow. I think I have one more comment coming in. She said it's amazing. Talanya said she loved it. I want to thank you guys for showing up and showing out. And one last time, please think of Allison Smith and her family and her lovely husband and her 3 children. We're going to have a beautiful service on Sunday for her. Guys, you have been amazing. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find these credits and say goodnight.